According to a statement from the Whale Sanctuary Project, Kshamenk was not only left to endure decades of isolation at Mundo Marino, but was also used for captive breeding. Staff members from SeaWorld were reportedly dispatched to Mundo Marino to collect his sperm so it could be used to breed more captive orcas. After the procedure, they left, and Kshamenk remained behind in the same barren tank, continuing a life of solitude and deprivation. His genetic legacy lived on in captivity. He fathered a son, Makani, who is still alive today at SeaWorld San Diego. He also had a daughter, Kshamenk, who died earlier this year at SeaWorld San Antonio. Kshamenk's story highlights a harsh reality of the captive breeding system, where animals are valued for their reproductive potential, but not necessarily for their welfare, freedom, or long-term well-being. So how is SeaWorld allowed to do this? The answer lies in how captive marine mammals are regulated, and more importantly, how responsibility is divided across borders, institutions, and legal definitions. SeaWorld did not physically own Kshamenk, but ownership is not required to benefit from an animal within the captive breeding system. What matters is access, agreements, and regulatory permission. In Kshamenk's case, he was legally classified as native fauna owned by the Argentine government, while physical custody was held by Mundo Marino. That distinction created a gap. SeaWorld, as a foreign corporation, could not claim ownership, but it could legally collaborate with the facility that housed him. As long as the local authorities and the holding institution approved the procedure, sperm collection could be permitted under veterinary and research justifications. Captive breeding itself is not illegal. In fact, it is often encouraged under the framework of conservation and population management, even when the animals involved will never be released into the wild. Regulatory bodies focus primarily on whether procedures meet veterinary standards, not on whether they serve the long-term psychological or social well-being of the individual animal. Internationally, there is no binding law that prohibits the commercial exchange of genetic material from captive whales. While live capture is now banned in many countries, genetic material exists in a legal gray zone. It can be collected, transported, and used for breeding as long as paperwork, permits, and veterinary oversight are in place. Crucially, no law required SeaWorld to improve Kshamenk's living conditions in exchange for using his genetics. There was no obligation to relocate him, to provide companionship, or to retire him from display. Once the collection was complete, responsibility reverted entirely to the facility holding him. SeaWorld could benefit from his reproduction without assuming any duty of care toward his daily life. This is how the system allows it. Welfare is treated as a local responsibility. Genetic benefit is treated as transferable. Accountability becomes fragmented. Each party operates within legal boundaries, yet the animal falls through the cracks. Kshamenk's story reveals that legality does not always equal ethical responsibility. When animals are reduced to assets within a global captive breeding network, actions can be lawful while still leaving an individual to suffer decades of isolation with no path toward a better life.